What is up, y'all? Skylar here with Sky Gardens. I grow flowers right here in West Texas. Welcome back to our In His Creation segment here on YouTube. This is where we talk about what God is saying through His creation right now, here in this moment in time. And y'all, we are in January. Not only that, it's been extremely cold here for us. Up until yesterday, we had been below freezing for 3 days in a row. So pretty cold. I was finally able to get my hands in the dirt yesterday. It felt so good, but it's still cold out. And in January, really everybody, I think, does this, where you're thinking about the plans for the year and what's going to happen in 2025. And that is what I've been focusing on, trying to plan things out, think about what we want the farm to look like, what we want it to be, and how exactly all of that's going to work. And so, of course, that has led me down the road of thinking about how plans have gone in the past and how we really go about planning the farm and what we do. And let me tell you, it's changed a lot. So the very first year that we started growing flowers, this was definitely a trial year where it was like, okay, we're going to see if things can work out this year. If they do, great. Like that, then we'll do Sky Gardens, basically. So 2021 was our first kind of half year, and let me tell you, everything that we planted, I started a lot of seeds inside. Maybe 10% of those survived. To start all of it, I took a class with a flower farm that's very popular up in Oregon or Washington or somewhere over there. And let me tell you, they had great information to tell me. And I'm sure it works great in most every other place in the world. But here, it did not work at all. It was amazing. They had great tools. They had a calculator where you could figure out exactly how many plants are going to fit in whatever flower bed. And then this bed will be here, and this bed will be this. And this one will be done blooming, and then you'll till it up and get a new succession planted of this. And so I had it mapped out perfectly. I was going to be perfectly on track for all of my plans to work out just exactly how I had them planned in my head. And if they didn't work that way, I don't know what I was going to do, because there was a plan and it was on a piece of paper and it was there, and that was what we're sticking to. And I quickly learned that that is not exactly how it's going to work here. But 2021 kept on going. We ended up having some beautiful flowers, despite the fact that a lot of the seed starting failed, and, you know, just a lot of things were not exactly everything that we had planned them to be. But still, to a certain extent, it was beautiful. And not to a certain extent, it was beautiful. But to a certain extent, it did kind of go according to a lot of other plans. And so we started building our high tunnels, which I'm in the greenhouse right now. And the high tunnel is just right on this other side over here. That's the first one that we built, and it was amazing. We had it covered and completely finished by Christmas of 2021. That was a miracle in and of itself. But then we had the most beautiful spring I could have ever imagined up until that point. And it was amazing. Not outside of the tunnel. It wasn't beautiful outside of there, but still, I had plans for summer flowers, and they were going in the ground, and May came along, and we're getting ready, getting everything moving. Everything is looking beautiful. It was amazing. So amazing. And I think it was May 27th, we had a storm, a microburst storm, blow through. 100-mile-per-hour plus winds took the top off our tunnel, and everything that was planted outside, it wasn't even the winds that were as bad, but the sand that was blowing with this, it sandblasted every seedling, every baby plant, every transplant, everything that I had planted, totally sandblasted, and most everything died. And I was like, okay, God, what's your plan here? Because this is not what I had written on my paper, right? Like, I didn't have this planned out in my plan for this year and in my plan for growing things. And we were going to the farmer's market at that point, and I told them, hey, we're not going to be able to make it back until I can get things growing again. We got to get everything replanted, and I don't know how it's going to work. And God, what are you doing in this? Right? And so 2021 had happened, and it had been beautiful, and then we'd proven that things had happened, and then we have our tunnel, crazy big investment, right? Like we have a high tunnel that we have things producing out of that it has to produce, and then that comes, and it does okay that spring. It did pretty good, and it produced, but there were other failures in that too, right? And then the microburst storm happens, and it's like, okay, God, what next? Because I don't know what to do with this. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford to keep on growing things, because we're talking about money here. Like, do you care about this, God? Is this really your plan? You wanted Sky Gardens to start so that it could fail like this in front of everybody publicly? What's the plan? So I replanted, and we got things going again, and things were growing throughout the summer. And after that heartbreak of it being like, okay, well, I don't even know like what I'm doing here, we got things growing again. And we got to the end of the year, and it was about August, I guess, and I started looking up, and we'd be back at the farmer's market, and we were selling flowers, and it was beautiful. It was so pretty. And I'd share those flowers with people, and I'd, give them the bouquet, and they would smile, and it would bring joy to their faces and joy to their lives. And I'd be out here cutting flowers, and I was like, man, this is just so amazing. This is so beautiful. And we were in the middle of building our other high tunnel at this point in time, and the construction piles were all over the place, and we were just a mess. We were just a mess, honestly. We still are. Welcome to the farm. But I looked around at everything as I was cutting those flowers, and I told my parents, this isn't it. We don't need to be taking these to the farmer's market. I mean, we do. Yeah, we need to sell them there. But people need to come out here and experience this. They need to get to see the miracle that what God did despite the storms that came our way this year, because it was hard. And there was a drought, and it was hard. And people need to see this miracle. They need to see it in our imperfect mess that is. Because that is where God is. Right? And so in everything that I didn't plan for that year, God did the most. He did immeasurably more than I could have imagined, because he broke my heart. Right? And so I sit here and I plan this year. And I'm thinking about what's going into place. And I'm thinking about what I want to see in different areas. And I'm looking out in certain areas, and I'm seeing different things. And I'm like, okay, God, in this area, I want to see people gathered with flowers around them, sitting around a campfire, and getting a taste of what it feels like in to be in your presence. That's what I want in this place. And I don't care what flowers you use to make that happen. And I don't care what story you tell to make that happen at that point in time. But that is the plan for this area. And so I'm going to order flowers. I'm going to order plants. I'm going to plan for all of this to happen. And whatever you're going to do with whatever I put in place, just let me be your hands and feet in this garden. Because that's where we're at. Right? You see, we get to this point in time, and I start planning things out, and I'm like, okay, this has got to be good. But I don't write it out anymore. I don't write it out in, okay, this has to happen exactly this way. Otherwise, we're not going to make it. We're not going to be able to do things, because I know that our God is so much bigger than something that I could possibly put on a piece of paper. Which is so, so cool. So I started thinking about this, and I'm looking at Bible verses, and I search up actually, Bible verses about that God talking about his plans for people, or talking about plans just in general. Like, what does the Bible say about our plans, right? So we're going to start with, we have quite a couple little verses, because I find that interesting. In the Bible, it doesn't say, I'm going to make your plans happen. No, let's see what he says. He says, this Proverbs 19:21, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. That might be my favorite one that we read. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails, because this is his. This isn't mine. This isn't his. This isn't yours. This isn't ours. This is his. And then we may have many plans that we have an idea of exactly where we want to be, but it is the Lord's purpose that will prevail, and it will bring the most glory to him, right? I hope so. Okay, Proverbs 16 verse 3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do and your plans will succeed. So I mean, that does say your plans will succeed. But at first it says, commit to the Lord what you are going to do and your plans will succeed. If they're his, then they'll succeed, right? Not in the way that you always expect, but they'll succeed, right? Proverbs 15 verse 22. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. I mean, God being our advisor. Who else? My parents, my family, my grandparents, people at church, friends. You seek out wise counsel, right? People who talk to the Lord about it. Okay, this one. Isaiah 55 verses 8 through 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And I love that one too, because they truly are. His ways and his plans, they're so much higher than ours, and we don't comprehend all the time what he's even talking about. And I think about this in terms of just my life, right? And I think that if I'm sitting here, I hope that this reaches you in some way, because you think, oh yeah, that was not my plan. But I hope you can see the goodness in it. And I think this happens in everything. This happens in life and in death and in windstorms and catastrophes and beautiful days, and in all of it, they're part of his plan, and they have some sort of purpose, right? And that's hard to understand a lot of the times. I don't even know what that was, but it is hard to understand how anything in death could be good, right? Like how does that go for your purpose, God? I don't understand. Should I? Yeah, I guess we'll just get deeper, and this is probably gonna be the deepest that we ever go with my personal life here. But it is. It's my story it's his story that God is writing in my life. I see. Whenever I was little, I was a very quiet little girl. I didn't talk very much. I was very standoffish, kinda. I didn't talk really at all, and it was good that way. I liked it that way, honestly. And my cousin would talk for me. His name was Devin, and he always talked for me. He was so kind to do that for me, because I was not trying to talk to anybody ever. And he passed away in a car accident whenever I was 6 years old. Why, God? What is any good in that? He was 6. I was 6. Why? Right? Why? And I look back on my life and that quiet, shy, timid little girl that I know everybody in my family was like, how is she going to make it without him? Some people told my mom that I wouldn't remember him. God works in crazy ways, because I remember a lot of before I was 6 years old, and I don't remember very much at all from being like elementary years, I guess. I don't remember very much of it. But this heartbreaking event made me who I am, yes. But then I think about 7-year-old little Skylar, who my grandparents are just trying to get a smile on my face. My grandma decides to get me a little greenhouse that I could call Sky Gardens and sell tomatoes to her straight out of it and then go eat them right off her table right across the road over there at her house. And I think of this Sky Gardens that would have probably never existed had I had my mouth there to talk for me. And if it did, it might have been Devon's Gardens. Which, don't get me wrong, that's a cool name too. But what God is doing through Sky Gardens might have never happened. Because that timid, shy little girl somehow acquired some of Devon's personality traits. And then now today, I look in the mirror and I partly see him. Which is crazy, right? It's crazy. Because I would have never been talking this much. Especially not on a camera. Not like this. Nope, that would not have been happening. So, in all of this heartbreak and all of this horribleness, guess what? For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Because he's sitting there in the arms of Jesus. Devon is, right? And his story has been a testament to creating something that hopefully is bringing more of Jesus's kingdom to this earth through something as little as Sky Gardens, right? And then I even think about how Sky Gardens got started now. Trust me, if it was in all of my family's plan, or probably mine, I probably would have been married out of college, just gone to law school, like that was the plan to do, or med school, or whatever, you know? And that I'd been great. I probably have a kid by now. I'm 26, so who even knows? Maybe I don't know. My plan wasn't at all. Everybody gets married out of college and good to go, right? Set on beginning life. And out of college, I got to create with God something called Sky Gardens that I hope and pray brings so much light and glory to him, and that he is so glorified in everything that we do here. And that would have never happened had it been my plan. But his ways are higher than my ways, and his plan is greater than mine. This one's Jeremiah 29, verse 11. Everyone knows this one. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Because he knows the plans that he has for us. I'm trying to find Proverbs again. I should have bookmarked these, but I did not. I love this one though. Proverbs 19, verse 21. Many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. We plan things out. And we plan the farm out. And at the end of the day, we know that it's his plan and his purpose and his garden, and we're here to tend that garden. And hopefully create a place that gives people a glimpse of him and all the madness of the world. So, the plans for this year for the garden are all over my head. They're all over the place. I have so many ideas and great things that I am praying will happen this year. And maybe they will. And maybe they're not in God's will. But all I know is at the end of the day, it's his. And he's going to do exactly with it what he sees fit. And I cannot wait to be along for that ride. So, sorry this one was a little bit longer today. We definitely got way deeper than we probably ever have into my personal life. But I hope it is a testament to you that whatever God is doing in your life, whether it seems like the best day in the world or the worst day in the world, that He has got such a good plan for you. I cannot imagine not have been able to live this life, to get Sky Gardens going and to get all the animals and all the flowers and all the different things that we have growing along right now. I cannot imagine not getting to see this at this point in time, because it is immeasurably more than I could have ever comprehended or planned out for my life. And I'm loving every second of it. And does that mean that I don't want other things? No, it doesn't. But I know that God's plan and God's timing and God's timetable is so much better than I could have come up with on my own piece of paper. So I can't wait to see what He does in 2025. And as I'm planning out the garden and as you're planning out your year, I hope that you give yourself some grace and give some wiggle room in there as you're writing it out on paper, to know and believe that he's got it a lot better planned out than you do. And whatever comes, he's gonna do so much more than you can imagine with it. Even in the heartbreaking things. I always feel kind of funny saying that, because I feel like people are probably like, what is she even talking about in the heartbreaking things? Like another windstorm coming? No, I know heartbreak too. Real heartbreak. I was 6. I was not right. But man, God is good. God is good at the end of the day. And it all. So good. So good. So anyways, thank y'all for tuning in today. Sorry this was a longer one. I can't wait to see what your plans are. I can't wait to see what God's plans are. And I cannot wait to see what He does. So it's going to be good. So thank y'all for tuning in. I know I said that like 3 times. Just sorry this is a long one. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, and comment below if you want to see anything specific, I guess, on the farm. We'll keep on sharing all this chaos with you day by day as the plans unfold and go amok and go perfectly. all the above. So all right, thank y'all. I'll see you soon.